Welcome to the Stephen Shiels radio show. Today I've got Ada Gao on the show. How are you, Ada?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Very good to have you on. 2020 was a very, not the best year for any actors or musicians at all. What got you through, the tough times
I
last
think I got into the idea of creating my own content.
year? Hmm.
So even though a lot of productions and also a lot of kind of movie films and all that stopped
Mm,
filming, I kind of caught on to the trends that were happening. So TikTok started, and that
mm,
was kind of creating your own content at home. Jumped on the bandwagon of that. I'm in the process of potentially creating a YouTube channel
hmm.
where getting a film crew together as well as some potential actors and just doing kind of, your own vision into life. So creating short films, creating short videos. I think there's a lot of joy in making your own content.
Mm.
And I think that's what I really want to do more of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, it was an opportunity, I think, to get very creative last year as well. And just publish your work out there. I know TikTok's become the new thing. I don't use TikTok. I use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Webtalk because I find TikTok's not really for me and what I do. Have you started
Yeah.
using TikTok?
I've only just started. I'm also trying to see what's out there. There's a lot of different trends
Mm,
like dances, music, all sorts of things. And it's very snappy. So it's, 15-second short videos type of thing. So I've started looking into that. I am still considering on whether to really jump on the bandwagon and do more
mm,
videos. I've done a few. Um, but what you said about people being creative, it is really true. I think so during the COVID period, people have started collaborating globally a lot as well. So
mm,
I started finding jobs around creating your own self-made videos, and then they would like people that are producers would stitch them together. So there was one music video that I did during
mm,
COVID period, which was for a singer in New York. And then she literally put out a post out for everyone to kind of apply to be
mm,
part of her music video. And she literally got like people from 40 something different countries and just stitched up like literally a couple of second videos from everywhere. And it was a really cool video because it was just like, people dancing, people singing, just filming themselves, and then it was her music video, but it just showed a very global presence. So yeah, I think there's definitely people trying to be creative during the COVID period, but it was hard because without being able to be in person with others, um, especially for the area of acting, it's and any sort of performance, it's hard to kind of get out there. So had to get very creative with technology.
mm. Yeah, so much screen time. I noticed too. I was always on the phone on Zoom and Skype and all this. Just became like so much of an online world, which is just weird.
Yeah, it's a very digital world. It
Mm,
makes me think how technology has gone from the last 10 years to what the next 10 years will be like. I still remember the days of floppy disks and
mm,
dial-up internet, and now we're, doing work digitally,
mm.
like around the world and connecting to people globally. It's just, transformed so much. But it's going to be a big part of our lives for the future as well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there is good with all of them too. I found. Obviously, I like face to face better, but if it's remote, which I do my podcasting, it's just better to do it on Zoom as well.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, I mean, that itself is very creative in terms of how you're using technology to get people out there to hear your content. Yeah.
maybe one day I'll have my own studio, but that's a long way away. Do something like Joe Rogan would do, you know, have everyone microphone, and that'd be so cool. But for now, just doing it remote for the time being. I
Yeah, I
think.
think having a goal like you owning your own studio, you'll definitely get there. Because I
Mm,
think that's the other thing, being ambitious and passionate and having very clear goals is definitely something that, puts you apart as well.
mm. But I wanted to talk social media. Like Instagram's got their own highlight reels, which I've used. So I found I don't need to use TikTok because Instagram Reels tend to get me a
Yeah.
bit viral. But the algorithm's so competitive, it's just getting ridiculous. Like, it's very hard to because I've got a very small following for people to notice my stuff as well.
Yeah.
How do you feel about social media?
I think you're right. It is something that's very competitive right now. It's something that everyone uses. It probably does take a lot of research and figuring out how the algorithms work to really get ahead with it. I do know that, like, there are a lot of people that are becoming influencers and teaching others how to become influencers as well. But I think it takes a lot of like consistency, like, posting content, really good content all the time, tagging, like doing a whole heap of things. So I think it is pretty competitive now, but
Mm,
I still need to work on my own social media game. Not quite there yet either, but
mm,
it could be very powerful if you know how to do it well,
mm.
because you reach so many people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that takes a gift in itself, using all these hashtags and all that. Also, too, people got to like your stuff as well,
Yeah.
is what I
I,
found.
I think it's like putting something that's really polished out there, because when you see all the Instagram posts and the people that do really well, it's like a lot of editing and
Mm,
everything. I have a friend who's quite a like what do you call it, food influencer, food blogger, that's got like 20K followers, and she literally posts on a frequent basis, like daily basis, but
mm,
also every single post does, like, it's a lot of editing. So you have
mm,
to edit it, make it look really perfect. And I think now people are getting really, really good at photos and pictures. So it's like, how do you make that into like a piece of art to
mm,
really get out there and show the very perfect side of things? So I think it is good and bad. It's good in the sense that you can reach a lot of people and inspire and influence a lot of people. But I think it's also bad in the sense that so many people are so consumed by it, and that you're so focused on an image that you're creating that maybe doesn't show all facets of life.
mm. Exactly. And I mean, look, because I've moved to a new platform or new social media, Webtalk, and I'm finding I can post and not have to worry about keywords. More people
Yeah.
are engaging with my work as well. So I'm always experimenting, but I'd be happy. I'll still keep my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram in case
Yeah.
that one day grows all of a sudden as
It's
well.
just it is fascinating to think that social media was something that just literally came by in the last few years.
Mm,
Um, and it's now just taken over the world. There's a really good Netflix documentary also about the whole social media piece.
mm,
I'm just trying to think of the name.
mhm,
Yeah, I think it's basically talks about how the algorithms work in the background, and it keeps feeding you content based on what your preferences are and what you
mm.
like. And then it almost in a way is controlling your subconscious thoughts without even you knowing.
It's
Or
getting to a
influence.
point where it's getting weird, Ada, because Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat can go and get effed, in my opinion. Mark Zuckerberg as well. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's selling like, all your data. And when you check in on Facebook, they know where you are.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
mean to upset you or
Everything that
anything
you use is
like that.
recorded somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they definitely have a lot of information about you. It's like based on all your data, they can create like a, a persona of what type of person you are. And based on your persona, give you more information based on what you want to see.
It's getting
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I really recommend the film I watched, because let me try and see if I can find the name for it.
Mm,
But it's basically all about that, which is, how does the background algorithms work in such a way that it's called the social dilemma. That's
mm,
what it's called. There we go. And it's basically around how this social media world is causing this dilemma where, like more and more people are subconsciously influenced. And then on an individual level, maybe it's just selling you stuff that you want to, buy. But on a community social level, things like this could be so powerful in creating even potential election influence. because, you know, dependent on the personas of each person, they can then feed, you know, advertisements or particular media to swing you in certain directions. And that in itself can create even more polarizing effects on a social community level and disrupting, you know, like big election causes and things like that. And subconsciously, you don't know that it's actually coming from the information that you're consuming. And especially when it comes to social media, people wake up and check their social media, they go to sleep and check their social media. So without even knowing, a lot of what you're looking is something that you're kind of driving a subliminal message in your mind. And essentially, it's like whatever message you saw in the beginning of the day and the end of the night, you're kind of going to remember that, and it might even influence decisions in life and things like that. So it's pretty crazy. The part that I found that was the craziest is all the people in these social media companies that were building all the algorithms and building the actual technology wouldn't allow their kids to use it. So it's quite funny in that sense. They must know something.
Have you ever noticed when you're on Google and you're just Googling things like, say, travel, you get bombarded with ads?
Yeah.
I've switched to
Pay to be there.
DuckDuckGo for a reason. Number one, I'm not getting bombarded with ads, and Google can get lost.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think it's all about that ad revenue. That's how they make their kind of profit, and a lot of companies survive on it as well based on that. So I guess what we consume in our social media and Google and everything is actually keeping businesses and, you know, the tech companies alive, which is quite interesting.
But what's next for Facebook and Instagram? I mean, they've done it all now.
Yeah, it's interesting because like you don't realize that what you're consuming is, are you the product or are they the product? Right? Because you're consuming or like looking at social media or looking at what is being posted, they make money for every impression or every click, etc. So it's almost like humans have become the products of, you know, social media.
Well, Amazon too. I mean, you got all these Amazon Alexas and Google Home. I don't use those things. You know, they record everything you say.
I think so. I don't know. They claim that they don't. Yeah. But
like,
it's becoming a big thing.
And Amazon too, you get emails, oh, products we recommend to you because they're tracking you on what you're scrolling. I mean, I've shopped on Amazon before, but like I kind of know what I want to buy. Like you don't need to be sending me emails on what I should buy.
Yeah. I think it's probably targeting the people that are less decisive than you. The people that more spontaneously shop.
Yeah. I mean, online shopping's grown so much too, as well.
Definitely. And I think that's kind of becoming the future norm as well. You know, I'm hearing that like Amazon, they've created drones to deliver, you know,
Oh God.
things to your door. So, I mean, that could be the future world where it's at a click of a button, you get it to your door within a couple of hours. I mean, it creates so much convenience, but at the same time, humans are just going to become lazier and lazier because you can get everything from the touch of your phone.
So what happens if I order something on Amazon, Ada, with a drone and it breaks down?
I don't know. That's probably a question that Amazon will have to solve. They probably have some sort of insurance or something.
Someone can just take my order and run.
Yeah, it is a very futuristic type of world that we're going to be entering into. I mean, to be honest, there are so many different technology evolution pieces that are changing the way humans are acting and the way humans, like what we talked about with social media, how that's becoming a big way of life for people. But I mean, even just like you said, shopping and daily activities, like technology is transforming a lot of that without even us realizing. I think a good example of that is like I was so surprised about how technologically advanced China is right now, where if you go into restaurants these days, they don't even give you a menu. You just use your phone to scan a QR code. And I think that's happening in a lot of Sydney restaurants as well now. But you order everything on your phone and then you pay via your phone. And basically everything you want to do can be done with your phone.
Well, what happens if you're elderly and you can't use an iPhone?
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of going to become the minority, as the majority is going to be more and more our generation who are used to technology, but the younger ones are going to be even better at technology than us. Yeah.
Yeah, those QR codes. I mean, restaurants require you to check in for COVID-19, but I sort of don't like that because then the government knows where I am.
Yeah, I think it's for them the only way that they can track,
Hmm.
and contact people if they're impacted. But even that, what's interesting is that even COVID has created a shift in the way we work by basically putting us into the future sooner, if that makes sense. So previously, we all work in by going into the office, etc. But because COVID happened, everyone around the world was kind of forced to find a way to work from home by not interacting with others. And that's why, working from home is now such an easy option because of COVID. And that's, to be honest, what the future probably would have been like, where people rely more on technology. And, same with the whole QR piece. That's probably something that we never thought of doing before, but now that's a brand new way of tracing people that COVID's kind of forced upon us as well. So it's interesting because I think COVID has put us into the future of technology even faster.
Do you think one day we'll get into the future of technology where robots are doing everything for us?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually already happening in a lot of places. So I was in a restaurant the other day and it was a robot, like the ones on wheels that were carrying trays over to the table. And I was like, wow. And the other day I was at, I think it was a Woolworths. They were trialing this robot in the supermarket to clean up spills and things like that. And I was like, wow, this is definitely feels like the future already. And there's actually a hotel I think I saw in China that's fully operated by robots.
Is
So
this
everything
in China or Australia, Ada?
in China.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's fully like everything that you do is all kind of through, scanning of your passes and things like that. The restaurant, um, there's robot hands that cook the meal for you and delivers it to you. Um, the entire hotel. There's obviously people staff as well, but predominantly is run by robots. When I watched that video, I was like, whoa, this feels very futuristic. So I think it's happening already more than we know, but it's all being trialed out in that testing phase. And if it works out well, I don't see why not more people are going to do it.
Robots still need to be maintained and serviced as well.
Yeah,
Because
agree.
they break down.
Yeah, with
I
as
mean,
any machines or computers.
if you ever watched that show Futurama, it'd be cool if you had a bender robot too.
That's very true. Ben is hilarious.
Is just drinking beer and gambling. Imagine that. That'd be so good.
Robots with personalities. Yeah, it isn't it scary to be thinking of it, because as they become more and more human-like right now we're not threatened by them because they don't look anything like us. Like the robot I was telling you about delivering food to my table, that was literally just something with wheels and a somewhat digital screen at the face and trays. So that was nothing like a human. But as robots become more and more human-like, it's going to get scarier in that
Like
sense.
you had a robot deliver food to your table. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No
And
way.
it's in Sydney as well. Yeah.
Did it
It's
say
in
hi
Sydney.
to you? Or did it talk or not?
It had like a screen as a face.
Mhm.
So it wasn't really a face. It was just kind of, like a screen. So it wasn't quite, human-like in any way. But it had trays and it would just come to your table. So I found that pretty fascinating. And
Oh,
it's,
wow.
it's becoming more and more common now. I get so intrigued by, technology and where things are going with technology because it's going so fast. I remember also watching about, how I think Elon Musk is creating something about putting the neural things in people's brains so that, like, in the future, your brain can be, theoretically speaking, connected to, I don't know, internet or anything. And, I don't know how that would work, but it sounds really fascinating. And he's creating these like new things called neural mesh wires where you put in the brain so that in the future technology cannot interfere completely with your brain. Because then it's like, well, once humans are part tech, what makes us human?
I prefer to be human.
Yeah, but it is really fascinating, future of technology.
I do like Elon Musk's work with Tesla and SpaceX as well. I mean, SpaceX went up to space last year, and Donald
Yeah.
Trump viewed the space launch. But Tesla's, they're not at the stage yet with self-driving cars where you can just sit back and just sleep and let it drive in the traffic. They're still not there yet.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of testing and a lot of trials. I think they're getting there though, because even like their trucks or something like that can be self-driving. And I think, can you imagine being a generation where you don't even need to learn to drive completely?
I
It's pretty
wouldn't
crazy.
trust it, Ada.
I think at some points you have to have some sort of human intervention to make you feel comfortable that, you're not being controlled or your circumstances are not being controlled by
Mm.
something robotic.
It's not that, because you get all sorts of situations with traffic, and well, you're relying on a computer screen. And
Mm.
what's going to happen if, I don't know, something triggers it and boom, runs into someone?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of potential, risks, but at the same time, it's developing so fast. Yeah.
I mean, I support Elon Musk's work, and I like what SpaceX has done,
Mm.
which
I
is
also
pretty
quite
cool.
like the fact that it's interesting how, there was a period of time where all the governments were putting so much money to do space exploration because of the space race.
Mm.
But then after that died down, it's now all the billionaires putting money into the space explorations area, like Richard Branson, Elon Musk, and, Bezos. Like all of the billionaires are now kind of, you know, for spearheading the whole space exploration piece, which is pretty cool because I feel like as humans, I've always been intrigued by space and, we need to kind of do more of that exploration, but someone has to drive it, someone with the money.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, technology has always been changing before me and you were born as well. I think what SpaceX has tried to do is make it more bigger and change the spacesuits, which is pretty darn cool what they've done. You
Yeah.
know.
It's just, I think since we were born, technology's been on almost like an exponential curve.
Mm.
Before it was like it was traveling like this speed, and then ever since we were born, we're kind of gone like this. Because I remember when I was young, I'm sure you remember as well. We used to look up maps when we're driving, right? You got to actually, open the big thick book and actually memorize roads and things like that to figure out where to drive. Now I fully rely on my phone as a
Mm.
GPS. And it's just like that jump has been huge and so much stuff. I think technology is something that, is a lot of positive for humanity, but it can also be a lot of harm if in the wrong hands for the wrong reasons. The positive can, like, save lives and do many, many amazing things. Like the whole, have you heard about the robotic hands doing surgery? It's
Mm.
like doctors literally can be in a different country and use their hands to simulate kind of the operations, but with the robotic hands, because it's so precise, um, they could do the surgery so much better. And, it's
They
It's these
already
things that are helping humanity.
they already do that in the hospitals. They control it. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but they use a robot while they're doing surgery on patients. It's actually
Yeah,
easier instead of using
yeah,
your own hands.
because your
But
hands are bigger. Yeah,
but
yeah. I
from
find that fascinating.
the other side, but those things are known to work, you see. But
Mhm.
from the other side of the world, yeah, I'm a bit skeptic about
I
that.
mean, if your internet connection or whatever it's using is down, that could be quite problematic. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I
yeah,
mean, the military always building these latest and greatest drones now. They're relying on drones, and I think they're trying out these robot figures like you see in Call of Duty.
mm.
Jesus
I think
Christ.
it could be a very destructive technology. Like in the future, any war that we have wouldn't be human wars. It
Be
would
like
be
Call of
purely technology,
Duty.
yeah, or nuclear bombs or whatnot. Like, you wouldn't even need humans to fight anymore. With technology, the harm, it's so much worse. And
Mm,
yeah, let's just hope we never have a world war, because I don't think any of us would survive it. So
mm,
let's hope politicians are smart enough to realize that too.
mm-hmm. Exactly. No, but it's everything's changing in 2020, 2021 as well. Like you said, I can't really read a map myself. I have to use my phone to navigate. It's sometimes Google Maps is not always accurate.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we're so used to technology now that it's ingrained as a part of our lives. It's like I I can't even imagine not driving without my GPS phone. It's like it's become a way of life as well. So in many ways it's helped us, I think. Made life easier.
Mm,
But it's just, if for the good things it will help us a lot. If in the wrong hands, like you said, with all the military and all of those pieces, it could cause lots of damage.
well,
Yeah,
they're already building that stuff now.
yeah. What scares me a lot is this concept of superhuman technology. Have you heard of that?
I have.
Superhuman intelligence.
Mm,
It's this idea that, tech within itself can become more and more, with the whole machine learning concept, can be smarter than humans at one point. And that's quite scary. Like it's like the chatbots that I think was it Facebook that created. They had to
mm.
shut them down because there were these two chatbots talking to each other, and they started creating their own language, and humans couldn't understand what they were saying, but they found a way to talk in these incoherent phrases, and they had to shut the chatbots down because they were
Uh,
learning too fast from each other.
When did they shut these chatbots down? Because I know some businesses use a messenger bot as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's normal. I think that's still available today. This was the whole experiment that I think Facebook did, where they got two basic kind of two chatbots or two robots talking to each other. Yeah.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg has had to answer a lot of questions to Congress about. He's done a lot of dodgy things.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions around how social media is protecting people's, you know, data and things like that. I think that's a big question, like what we were talking about before. It
Mm.
just knows a lot about us.
Like Instagram's got a lot of problems too with trolls who impersonate celebrities and DMing people as well.
Oh,
I've
wow.
seen that a
Yeah.
lot. And celebrities put on their story that it's a scam, don't answer it. It's going on, Ada. So just ignore it.
Yeah. It's going to create a more complex world that we have to navigate, like you said, with a lot more scams and things like that. But hopefully benefits us more than it harms us in the future. Let's
Mm,
stay optimistic, hopefully.
mm, exactly. And all these like security and all this stuff, I just get so fed up with it.
Mm.
All
Security
this
is going to be a big thing for the future, because I think now there's so much identity hacking and theft and, like trying to basically breach. And I think so. I used to work at a bank, and they get attacked, cyber attacked, I think 13,000 times or 15,000 times a day or something like that. It's pretty crazy. And the cybersecurity teams in banks and any organization has to keep growing to keep up with the pace of things happening today, because hacking is becoming such a big thing as well. But yeah, it's quite a new world of new types of problems because of things developing so fast.
I've actually had emails, and I'll be honest, I've had emails saying your iCloud's been hacked, and it looked like a legitimate Apple email, but then I can see it's coming from Russia. I go and log into my iCloud. So, this is my personal email, not my company email. I don't know. I find lately just people just in my personal email saying, "Oh, I need money." So I just delete it. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of scam mail, a lot of those type of things. And that's the thing. I feel bad for people who are in much older generations that are not so immune or to all of this. Because for us, we see it and we go, okay, they're getting good at trying to be something that they're not, but eventually we still can see the difference. But a lot of people cannot. And that's where they get hacked or they get, trapped into this. And yeah, it's pretty bad because it's becoming more of a common thing, especially when hackers are finding ways to make money through this as well. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how they'd be able to hack a bank for starters if they've got all this cybersecurity and all that. I don't know how they could get into a bank, Ada.
I think people with really good tech skills are definitely trying, and then that's why the banks have had to, up their teams by a lot more as well, and increase their abilities to prevent themselves from being in those situations.
Because Sony got hacked at one stage as well.
Wow.
Years ago.
Yeah. No company or human is immune to it, but it's how you protect yourself from it completely. Yeah.
And virtual private networks too, like a few times, like if I use you know what a VPN is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I find number one, it slows my internet down. And when I log into my email, it complains that someone else is logged in. But when I've logged in, when you change your servers, like if I change to Canada or Brazil, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's navigating a very complex technology world now.
It's called NordVPN. They are good, but I know if you are on a free Wi-Fi, it's advised to use a VPN or don't even use free Wi-Fi. I don't know. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah, I think it is quite tricky now, figuring out how to protect yourself the best as well. Yeah.
I
agree with you. Too much that we don't understand, and it's like trying to keep up with it all.
Exactly. And but I know what I'm looking up. I know I logged in, so nothing's 100% yet.
Yeah.
But other than that, what else have you been working on acting wise?
Yeah, I think so. My key kind of focus is trying to start creating my own content. So bringing, passionate people that are into acting or filming together and to really start, putting small videos together, even if it's to build your own show reel or your own portfolio. I think it's a lot of joy in doing that. And especially if you're passionate about it, it doesn't feel like work. So that's kind of my next thing. I really want to be able to start, like what you have, a YouTube channel or something like that, where I can start putting my own content on there. And then also obviously apply for more kind of be part of more roles and things like that. So I've been fortunate to be on film sets, so like major films and be in TV shows and things like that, which has been really cool. And there's a lot of work that people do to bring all this together. So yeah, hopefully do more of that.
Yeah, that's so cool that you're doing that. I'm in the stage. I've just sort of completed my electronic press kit, all my Star Now profile, my music resume as well. So I've done
Cool.
that. So always updating the Star Now, and yeah, just
Nice.
promoting the work
I
as
think
well.
just keep at it, set yourself those goals, those visions, keep driving towards it. And yeah, I think there's always progress once you know that's what you want to do.
Mm. Yeah, and also, how's other things going for you, career-wise?
Yeah, it's good. I think I'm also in the process of, trying to start entrepreneurial ventures and things like that. That's something I'm also really passionate about. But yeah, trying to find my foot into the right kind of like, uh, opportunity areas. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And beside acting, do you have any other hobbies that you do as well? Like, what else do you like?
Yeah, I like ice skating.
Hmm.
I like watching movies, cooking, spending time with family friends. Um, I like going to the snow as well, skiing. So
Hmm.
yeah, a
Yeah,
few
I'm
things to
watching
keep
a
me busy.
really good show on Amazon Prime called Startup. It's one of
Oh yeah,
those binge shows, and it's just like awesome stuff. It's like a
cool.
startup company. They create a Bitcoin as
Yeah,
well, and
awesome.
it's like you always look forward to the next season as well, Ada.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I think I've heard something about it, and I've heard it's good. So I'll look it up.
How do you watch your TV? Are you Netflix, Amazon Prime? What do you use?
Yeah, I use Netflix.
Yep. How do you find Netflix?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, like all the social media stuff, it kind of figured you out after what you've watched, what you might like, and it always keeps giving you stuff that could be something that you'd want to watch. So I used to watch some Korean dramas, and now my entire Netflix is full of
Mm,
Korean drama stuff. So it's really funny.
mm.
Probably
And
thinks that I'm like, Korean now.
that's just weird. Very
Yeah.
weird. And have you noticed if you don't log in for a week, it doesn't follow you what you're watching?
Oh, I didn't notice that. I
Yeah,
think I'm
and
all, yeah, logged
that could
in.
be me. Spotify is known to do that too. Use an algorithm on what you're listening, build a
Yeah.
playlist. But it's never 100% accurate. I can tell you that
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
That's true.
You know, but see myself, like I like watching wrestling as well. I'm a wrestling fan. Um,
Cool.
that's what I like. I like meditating, going to yoga, volunteer for the New South Wales Rural Fire Service as well.
Yeah.
So I do that, and building my company as well.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's important to have a couple of hobbies and, goals, and it helps, figuring out, giving yourself a break when you need it with the whole hobbies, and then also, you know, focusing on what you want to achieve. I think it's great to be able to do something that you really, really love. I
Mm,
mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
mm. But entrepreneurship for you, has it been a struggle for you, or has it been easy in your opinion?
It's never easy. I think it's always a challenge, but it's probably one of the most rewarding things I've done. So, for example, I used to run a tutoring center. I
Mm,
think I mentioned to you, where we had tutors and we had students, and it was really cool because, as part of the process, it was like training up the tutors. Um, had our own office and things like that, and that was a really good experience. And a big part of what I was really passionate about was helping people learn and people improve themselves. And that's what I really enjoyed. So yeah, I think it's never easy because you do everything from scratch yourself. All the marketing. Marketing's always a challenging part.
mm,
Finding customers, and finding the right tutors and finding the right staff to hire. I mean, everything from ground scratch or ground zero
mm,
is challenging because you're essentially wearing multiple hats, and trying to balance everything. But I think it's rewarding though, because at the end of the day, it's a satisfying feeling knowing that you were part of the process of creating something.
exactly. And it takes a while uh for the income to start. It's not a get rich quick scheme overnight.
Definitely not. And I think people tend to see other people who, have achieved success and just think, oh, that's, so easy. And especially in our generation with technology, you know, you demand things so much faster and wants things so much easier, but it's a full process and it's a lot of the behind the scenes work that people don't see.
Yeah, it's a lot of negotiations too, meetings.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a marketing person, Ada, so that's a disadvantage for me.
But I
Obviously.
think the best way to go about with your disadvantages is find people that have those skills and work with them. So whatever, I think that really helps. Like for me, every time I'm starting something, I figure out what am I not so good at, and you find people that can help you on those things, and then know what your strengths are and focus on your strengths and use that at the forefront as well. I think that's probably the best way to get a good team together that complements each other, and then have people work with you on the things that you're not so good at.
Well, that's it. I mean, you get other people to do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, or collaborating with others, or finding ways to find mutually beneficial outcomes. So like finding ways to, you can help them in something and they can help you in something, and it becomes a win-win scenario. I think that's a big thing in business. Anything you do, you try and find a win-win for both parties, and that's kind of like the best outcome as well.
Yeah, the business world's taught me a lot. Like I've said, I never intended to be an entrepreneur when I was younger. Always wanted to be an employee, but maybe the universe said, Stephen, you got to be a CEO, not an employee. No, and I'm serious, Ada. And
Good. I think it's good. Like if that's what you really want to do, and that's what you feel like is your calling, you should do it, because
I
at the end
did.
of the day, and that's what you're doing, which is awesome. I think
Had
it's
no
great.
choice.
I think it's great that you're doing that, because a lot of people are too afraid to follow things that they really want to do, and they, time flies by, and then you look back and then regret, oh, I didn't give this a shot, or I didn't give that a shot. I firmly believe that you want to just have a go at everything that you really want to do, and take your best shot and live with no regrets.
Yep, that's it. You never know where Shields Productions will end up going. I think it will go a long way.
Yeah.
Who
Good
knows?
luck for all your work on Shields Productions. I think it's great that you're really, focusing on it. And yeah, we'll just
Yeah,
keep working towards our goals.
that's it. I wanted to say about social media. I think in China, Facebook's banned there. Is that correct? Or is
I think it's limited access. So I know that was what it was maybe a few years back. I'm not sure if it's still the same. I haven't been back in a while. Yeah.
because when I was studying, I had a few Chinese students who don't use it because I think it's the government won't allow it there. They got their own version of
Yeah,
Facebook.
they have their own kind of channels as well. That's more popular there as well. Yeah.
So they have YouTube in China.
Um, I'm sure people can use it some way. There's VPNs and things like that that people can use to connect to it. But they also have their own channels that are more popular than YouTube.
And I know anime is very big in Japan and China as well. I got
Yeah.
my favorite. I like watching Naruto,
Oh, cool.
Dragon Ball Z as well.
I actually haven't watched that much anime, to be honest. I know a lot of people watch anime, but I need to still watch a bit more. I watched maybe like a cooking show, Food Wars, which is a Japanese anime, but I haven't watched many others. Yeah.
So you're into cooking, are you?
I do. When everyone was in that COVID quarantine period, that was something that I got quite into. So I tried to learn a lot more about cooking, looked up a lot of recipes, created my own recipe list as well. Yeah, so.
Do you watch Gordon Ramsay?
I have seen some of his videos. He's quite an intense cook, but yeah, he makes some good recipes too.
He does, but that's what makes it funny to watch.
Yeah.
Do you watch MasterChef? You're gonna go on MasterChef one day, Ada.
No, I'm not that level. Not to that point yet. I'm an amateur home cook.
But they're all amateurs that go on it. They won't let professionals on it. So I think you'd have a good shot at it.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got my hands full already on the entrepreneurial stuff, the content creation for acting and things like that. So one step at a time.
Mm. No, because I like eating sort of different cuisines too. I like Asian food as well. I think
Yeah,
it's good. I like Italian as
yeah.
well.
I like trying all types of food as well. Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
mind
it's
sushi as well, but I've never been a big sushi eater.
fun. Yeah, I think we're quite lucky in Sydney because we have a lot of, choices for food. But yeah, I definitely like trying different cuisines.
Mm, exactly, not limiting to just one at the same
Yeah,
time. And yeah, it's just good to try whatever you can.
yeah,
you know.
definitely.
But yeah, it's awesome to have you on today's show, Ada.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and
Um,
all the best for your production company. I think
mhm.
it's awesome that you're doing this, and yeah, stay
Where
in
can
touch.
people find you on your social media?
Yeah, so it will be a to be comings in terms of the YouTube channel and things like that. So if any aspiring actors or anyone that wants to work on things together would like
Mhm.
to sign up, feel free to reach out to me. Um, Contact me by my email, which is adaagao at gmail.com.
Mhm.
And yeah, love to hear from people as well.
Mhm.